Whether you're deeply passionate about the game, eager to delve into advanced strategies, or just looking to immerse yourself in the world of esports, you've taken the step to start watching Valorant Champions Tour. This guide is tailored for those who are new to Valorant Champions Tour, or VCT, and are seeking assistance in choosing a team for the upcoming 2024 season. If you're already acquainted with the teams and are looking for a more in-depth analysis or an entertaining Haters Guide style video, be sure to check out my Haters Guide to VCT Americas 2024, which should be launching shortly after this video. And if you still want to watch, enjoy.
Down to 2, this could be it. Another chance for Jing, it's all over! EG are your Valorant World Champions!
The Valorant Champions Tour, or VCT, serves as the professional circuit for skilled players, organized into 3 distinct stages across 4 regions: the Americas, Pacific, Asia, EMEA, Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and the recently introduced region of China. The journey begins in the premier in-game mode, where players form teams and climb the ranks through successful participation in the Challengers qualifying tournament. Challengers, often regarded as the Tier 2 format of the circuit, involves teams competing throughout the year to accumulate points for the qualification into the Ascension tournament. This tournament serves as a gateway to the coveted VCT franchise. The spotlight for this video is on the franchised or Tier 1 Valorant, where each region features 11 participating teams aiming to earn points. The top 6 teams engage in a playoff stage to secure a spot in the international tournaments known as the Masters event or the Champions event. Last year, only the top 3 teams from playoffs had the honor of representing their regions. However, with the addition of VCT China, there might be an adjustment to this dynamic in the near future. Now that you grasp how each of the teams reach the grand stage, the next crucial step is finding a team that calls to you. To assist you in this decision, the video will provide a concise description of each team, brief history of their accomplishments, and highlights of key players and their history from last year. This information aims to help you to make an informed decision about which team you want to call yours for the 2024 season. Let's start with VCT Americas. VCT Americas encompasses the entire American continent, bringing together South America, North America, and the Brazilian regions to compete under one umbrella at the Riot Games Arena in Los Angeles. 100 Thieves is a prominent organization in the world of esports, with widespread recognition for its presence in several esports and affiliations with content creators like It's Timmy, Kaide, and Valkyrie. The team's roster currently features Bang, a promising young controller player, Asuna, a long-standing member since the pre-franchising era, Cryocells, the primary duelist who overcame a very slow start last year. Additionally, they have recently acquired EU from the second-place Ascension M80 team. Boostio, the new IGL, who won Valorant Champions last year with Evil Geniuses. Despite facing challenges and qualifying for significant events over the past years, 100 Thieves is undergoing changes in coaching and has welcomed new talents in EU and Boostio. The adjustments signify the team's commitment to overcoming the mediocrity from previous years. Choosing 100 Thieves might be the right fit for you if you appreciate middle-of-the-pack teams with untapped potential and an extensive merch store that doesn't disappoint. Cloud9 stands as a titan in the esports realm, etching their name in history with notable victories in Counter-Strike and Mango's consistent dominance in Super Smash Bros. Melee. For the Valorant team, while the core of last year's lineup remains somewhat intact, welcoming back Vanity, Zeppa, and Jakey, there are intriguing additions to the roster in Oxy and Whippy from G2. On paper, this might not scream powerhouse, but their recent triumph at the 10 Global Invitational, where they took down T1 EDG DRX, positions this roster to be a potential dark horse for the season. Picking Cloud9 this year means aligning with a team that carries a legacy from other esports, featuring a roster that blends seasoned veterans with rising stars. However, it's worth noting that the organization has faced criticism in the treatment of its players and the reluctance to offer salaries beyond the league minimum. If you can overlook these concerns and appreciate the team with a storied history and a mix of experience and emerging talent, Cloud9 might be the squad for you this season. Just be aware that if someone like Oxy hits it big, the return to the org might not be as guaranteed as it seems. Evil Geniuses is not a team that I would recommend to be your favorite. This organization is as scummy as they get. Their roster won Valorant Champions last year, the most prestigious tournament of the entire year, and then proceeded to ask their players to take a pay cut, and then threatened to lock them into their contracts. Then they waited until the last possible moment to sell them to other teams so they wouldn't have time to practice. Then management treated their employees like garbage and used some internships as the way to get free labor, and then fired almost the entire backstage staff at Evil Geniuses to run with a skeleton crew for the season. I have no clue how Riot Games has allowed this org to continue being a part of franchising. This team is good if you like incredibly toxic relationships, frustration, or like following the worst social media presence in the world. This team is undergoing a full rebuild despite winning the most prestigious tournament of the year. Avoid being a fan of this team. Furia is a Brazilian organization that jumped into the Valorant scene back in 2022 and quickly earned a spot in VCT Americas. Now they've mostly been contenders when Loud isn't in the mix. Taking a closer look at their current roster, it might not scream powerhouse. They had a bit of a rough patch in the Convergence offseason tournament, and names like MW Zera, Khalil, and Havoc might ring a bell in the VCT community, but Conan and Liazi are unlikely to be known. If you're into underdog stories and witnessing a team gradually find its footing throughout the season, Furia might be the pick for you. Sure, there are some big question marks around how the squad will perform, but nailing your prediction of a wildcard team always gives you that "I called it" feeling at the end. So if you're looking for a bit of an unpredictability and potential surprises, Furia could be the team to watch this season. Crew is a Latin American team hailing from Chile and is now under new management, co-owned by the soccer legend Messi. While having Messi on the board is quite the headline, it doesn't change the fact that the team struggled to find its identity last year. And the upcoming season raises more questions about the roster than it provides answers. Despite an impressive run at Last Chance Qualifier, Crew stumbled when it came to the only international event that they qualified for. Now, the roster has some new faces mixed in, with what seems to be the leftovers of the Latin American free agency. The returning core includes Melzer, Kesnet, and Klaus, and they've brought in Shai from Leviatan and MTA from Tier 2. Strangely, this mix makes the roster look somewhat worse than last year's lineup. Choosing Crew might be up your alley if you're a die-hard Messi fan or it's somewhat of a masochist, because watching closely contested games will unfortunately end in this team losing. It's a team with very little potential, but whether they can turn that potential into success remains a big question mark. Leviatan, a LATAM team from Chile, struggled with qualifying for an international stage last year, despite having an outstanding IGL in King and a solid supporting roster. This prompted management to recruit some of the best players in the Americas region. King, Nauzer, and Mazzino were the returning core, with the acquisition from Tex from the defunct The Guard roster. In a surprising move, Leviatan signed Aspas, the VCT Americas MVP and duelist for the championship-winning team, Loud. Unfortunately, the team encountered backstage drama with Nauzer's recent departure, causing frustrations from the players and empty threats from Aspas to leave if Nauzer wasn't kept. Calm was then added to the roster as the organization bought his contract out from Evil Geniuses to replace Nauzer. If Leviatan can overcome the internal strife, they stand a strong chance of rising to the elite levels that other Americas teams have historically achieved. The lineup featuring King, Aspas, Tex, and Calm poses a formidable force and potential to win VCT Americas. Loud has been the most dominant Brazilian team in recent memory. They won Champions in 2022 and have consistently dominated the Brazilian region. However, recent changes have left the team somewhat in an uncertain state, with the departure of Sasi and Pencada back in 2023, and the recently parted ways with Aspas this year, the MVP of VCT Americas. Despite these setbacks, the return of Sadak and Les is a positive note, especially since Les is considered to be the team's main carry now. While Kawanzin remains a strong asset, the replacement of Thieves hasn't quite lived up to the expectations. Loud is shaking things up by bringing in Quick as their 5th player and shifting Thieves to the duelist role. While these changes seem unconventional, with Sadak steering the strategy and Les leading the charge, it's hard to doubt the potential of this team. If you're on the market for a Brazilian team with a winning legacy, experienced players on the international stage, strong leadership, and a proven track record, Loud is a solid recommendation. Despite the recent changes, this team has shown resilience and a knack for success, making them a reliable pick for fans looking to support a formidable Brazilian team. Made in Brazil is a team that stands in stark contrast to Loud. Unfortunately, MIBR has been grappling with a lack of recognition and accomplishments in the recent time. Their struggles last year were so significant that it took a toll on the players' mental well-being, leading to one of them retiring from professional play. The only notable moment for MIBR last season was when they defeated 100 Thieves with a substitute, marking the end of both teams' seasons and prolonging Evil Genius's run that eventually led to their victory at Champions. In a peculiar twist of fate, anyone who speaks English and claims to be an MIBR fan is most likely an Evil Geniuses fan, or at least the squad from last year. If you're into watching a team grapple with challenges, struggle to secure victories, and potentially not make any significant roster changes due to financial constraints or a lack of genuine interest in winning, then MIBR might be your pick. However, it's not a recommendation for those who are seeking a strong track record or a promising future in this team. The reality suggests that this team may continue to face difficulties without substantial changes in their approach. NRG, an organization that has a stronghold on Valorant content creation and is also dead set on winning their first VCT trophy. In 2023, they made significant moves by signing the core of the old Optic roster, including Crashies, Victor, and FNS, who had previously secured the Masters Reykjavik trophy. They added Artis and Som to the mix, and the team looked formidable on paper and performed well at international events. However, when they played at Champions, the team faced challenges. Artis struggled in the post-chamber nerf meta, the calling wasn't as sharp, and the chemistry of the old Optic core seemed elusive. Undeterred, NRG retained the best parts of last year's team, Crashies and Victor, and made bold moves by signing Marv, who was also part of the old Optic roster, who secured them a trophy. What sets them apart is the acquisition of Demon 1 and Ethan, the former being the star player for Evil Geniuses last year, and the latter widely considered one of the best flex players globally. While the lingering question is who will be the IGL, on paper, this team looks nothing short of insane. The team is more than good. It's my personal recommendation for VCT Americas. The combination of talent, experience, and hunger for success positions NRG to be a formidable force, and they are undoubtedly a team to watch in the upcoming season. Sentinels, a prominent organization in the world of Valorant known for their clout and significant trophy win back in 2021. Sentinels has carved a unique space in the Valorant competitive scene. The face of the brand is none other than Tens, a highly recognizable player in the VCT. Tens, once a fragging force, has transitioned into the flex role, a testament to Sentinels' commitment to keep him on the roster. Zekin, considered the future of Sentinels, brings immense talent to the duelist role. Sasi, a former Champions winner with Loud, and John QT, the IGL for the second place Ascension team M80, have recently joined Sentinels. Now, within this formidable organization, there has been some buzz amongst the fan base that Pencada, the original 5th player, may see a change with Zelsis, initially signed as a substitute content creator, speculated to take a more prominent role on the team. Sentinels boasts a talented roster that on paper appears solid and has been performing well in off-season tournaments. Beyond the gameplay, they are backed by an organization known for its clout and its legacy player in Tens. Speaking of the fan base, the Sentinels fans, while passionate, have gained a reputation for being vocal, sometimes to the point of being considered the most enthusiastic and occasionally annoying. This team is recommended if you're seeking a blend of talent, a strong org, and a unique community experience in the Valorant competitive scene. G2, a European organization that found its way into the Americas VCT. You might be wondering why, and the answer is money and ad revenue, something you probably don't care too much about, but let's focus on what matters. The team, Valen, Trent, Jonah P, and Net have been on quite the journey. They faced the risk of being denied the opportunity to play in VCT after winning America's Ascension tournament, and with the guard folding operations, their future was uncertain. The VCT community rallied together, urging Riot to allow a bigger org to sign the players, ensuring their participation in the upcoming season. Thankfully, things fell into place, and even though they lost Tex in the process, the silver lining? They signed Leaf from Cloud9, who in my opinion is one of the most underrated players in all of VCT. This team is a compelling choice if you are seeking newcomers from Tier 2 and crave an underdog story. Valen, Trent, Jonah P, and Net, and Leaf have faced incredible adversity both in and out of the game. Despite the challenges, they have formed one of the more solid rosters, and in my opinion, deserve a bigger fan base. While unproven at the top level, this team gets a strong recommendation as your pick. Their resilience, talent, and the narrative of overcoming adversity make them an exciting underdog to root for in VCT Americas. VCT Pacific covers the entire Asian continent, with the exclusion of China. The teams play in the country of South Korea, home of DRX, T1, and Gen.G. DFM, or Detonation Focus Me, is a Japanese organization that, let's be honest, had a pretty awful run last year. And they had 0 victories during the Pacific regular season and faced defeat against Talon in the Last Chance qualifier, being a first round exit. The closest they got to tasting victory was in Week 6 against T1, and the struggles seemed to persist, evident from their failure to secure any wins during the Riot 1 Invitational. Now, recommending this team is not advised. It's like being a Detroit Pistons fan. You're already accustomed to the challenges and, let's say, the abuse. If you're seeking a really bad team that faces adversity not in the best way, then perhaps Detonation Focus Me might be the choice for you. However, it's crucial to set expectations realistically in that you're trying to look for your first victory. Brace yourselves for the very low lows of supporting this team. DRX, regarded as the best Korean organization in Valorant. They once fielded one of the most formidable rosters globally, with RB, Zest, Mako, Stax, and Buzz. These players set the bar for international success in Valorant, making any team that could beat them to be considered elite. However, the unfortunate reality is that the star-studded roster never managed to secure a championship, consistently placing 4th at international events. The organization, frustrated with this pattern, decided to shake things up. Zest and RB, key figures in the roster, have been benched, making way for Flashback and Foxy9 to join the main roster. It's uncertain whether these changes will elevate the team to an elite status, but only time will reveal the impact of these adjustments. This team is brimming with elite talent. Surprisingly, they have not won a championship. In a state of rebuild, DRX remains a powerhouse in Korea. Likely still the best team in the region. If you're willing to deal with the backstage drama and uncertainty that comes with the team in transition, DRX could be an interesting choice. The potential for success is there, but it's a journey that promises both excitement and challenges. Global Esports, the pride of India, though somewhat by default given that there is no other option. Similar to Gen.G, Global Esports has undergone a rebuild after a disappointing season. Lightning Fast and Skills are the 2 Indian players on this roster, with Skills initially serving as a stand-in. Blaze King, Pulvi, and Russ round out the lineup as imports. Notably, the team has made significant signing with Benkai, the former IGL of Paper Rex. In his new role, he faces the challenge of leading a very international team of players in a highly competitive division. It's uncertain whether GE will surpass their performance from the previous season, but the addition of Benkai is a step into the right direction. For those with strong Indian roots and a desire to support a team representing the country, Global Esports is your primary option. Gen.G, another Korean organization, is a team currently navigating a rebuild. the roster has undergone significant changes, with Munchkin joining from T1, Lakia from D+, Texture from GE, and Qeon from Free Agency. The one consistent piece of this transformation is MIBR, who remains with the team and for good reason. He was a standout performer, essentially carrying Gen.G through a middle-of-the-pack season, and his frustration was palpable, especially during the playoffs. Gen.G at the moment seems like a team in search for direction. However, the potential lies in the rebuild. If they can add one more elite talent to complement MIBR's skill, then the team has the potential to become a playoff contender. While currently feeling a bit lost, Gen.G is a classic example of a team in transition, and their journey through the rebuild could bring forth a revitalization and competitive squad. Keep an eye on this team as they navigate through the changes, and as they emerge stronger on the other side. PaperX, a team that has captured the hearts of many with their stacked roster, humor, and charisma. However, the only hiccup is the absence of an international trophy, a trend seen much across the Pacific region. Despite winning last year's VCT Pacific, PaperX fell short on the global stage, securing second place both times in Masters and Champions. With Jing taking a hiatus from military service, they've brought in Monyet from the former GE roster, a promising addition. In the Pacific region, nothing seems to change in terms of PaperX's dominance. Forsaken, Divide, Mindfreak, and Something continue to be standout players in the region, and with the new addition, they seem to remain the front runners to bring home the international trophy. Choosing PaperX is a no-brainer. Not only are they some of the funniest and most charismatic individuals in the scene, but they are also insanely talented on the server. This team receives a high recommendation, offering an enticing blend of skill, personality, and the potential to make a mark on the international stage. If you're looking for an easy and enjoyable team to support, PaperX is an excellent choice. For Indonesian fans, RRQ is the team that you want to be looking out for. The Indonesian team has had a rough start at VCT Pacific, losing out to Zeta as well as Gen.G, which are teams that you're gonna have to beat in order to make it out of the Pacific League and into the international stage. After a not-so-convincing performance, RRQ would make it into the VCT Last Chance qualifier, where they once again beat Global Esports and lose to Zeta Division in the uppers and Gen.G in the lowers. RRQ for 2024 seems a little promising, but with the recent changes to the Pacific region, it's hard to say where any team stands at the moment. For 2024 season, RRQ have currently signed Estrella, who's previously played in D+ Esports. The Korean initiator has been dominating Ascension, and he is for sure a player to look out for in Tier 1. If you've been paying attention to the Pacific Ascension League, you'd recognize G, a duelist from Scars. He is set to join RRQ with Estrella. With these few changes, it's safe to say that RRQ looks to be cooking up something for the next season. T1, an organization that underperformed last year, especially when considered the high standards set by its League of Legends counterpart. While making it to Masters Tokyo and Champions are commendable achievements for most organizations, T1, with the weight of esports greatness behind them, is understandably unsatisfied with the mid-level performances on the international stage. Retaining the core of Carpe, Zeta, and Saya player, although Zeta has been moved to the substitute position, T1 has made a strategic addition as they have brought in Izu, a Japanese player from Tier 2, and Rossi from Turtle Truth, and Xcurate, who also happens to be Forsaken's younger brother. In the past, it has been suggested that this team is ready to break out, and the belief in that potential still stands. With the talent on the roster being decent, the challenge just lies in realizing that potential. T1 presents a compelling underdog story, especially with the exceptional talent that they have brought to the table, by players like Saya player and Carpe. The organization is renowned for setting up its players for success, like Faker, and now it is up to the players to achieve that potential and strive for victory. Watching T1 navigate this journey could be an exciting narrative for those who appreciate an underdog story. Talon Esports, a well-established organization from Thailand, has been a part of the Valorant scene for several years. Formerly known as Xerxia, they once stood as a formidable force in APAC. However, in the recent times, the team has faced regression, failing to qualify for playoffs and finishing second to last in a tie with Global Esports. Their last chance qualifier journey resulted in a second round exit. The core of the team from the previous year includes Jitboy, Cruz, and Lean. Joining them are players from T1's players, Ban and Governor. Despite the off-season roster moves, the addition appears to be somewhat mediocre, lacking the excitement that teams like PRX, DRX, and Bleed have generated. If you're someone who enjoys simplicity and finds satisfaction in the mundane, Talon might be the choice for you. Resembling kind of pasta but without sauce, lacking the excitement and flair of other teams' off-season moves. Team Secret, the Filipino representative, pleasantly surprised many fans last year by securing a 5th place finish in the regular season. The roster consisting of Borkum, Envy, Jeremy, and Jevi Lash all returned for another season, maintaining their all-Filipino lineup. NDJ joins the team from free agency. Team Secret's journey in the Pacific playoff saw them defeating Zeta Division in the first round. However, their progress was halted as they faced consecutive challenges against 2 Korean teams, DRX and Gen.G, ultimately unable to secure victories despite putting up strong fights and taking a map off of each opponent. For those seeking an underdog team capable of surprising middle-of-the-pack opponents and occasionally challenging the more elite teams, Team Secret might be a good dark horse pick. The team's commitment to an all-Filipino squad adds to the commendable sense of nationalism in their identity. Zeta Division, a Japanese team who has enjoyed love from fans both in Japan and internationally. Their Cinderella run at Masters Reykjavik a couple of years ago made them insanely popular. They have faced challenges in meeting their goals post a spectacular journey. While they did make an appearance at Champions last year, the team's performance did not live up to expectations, prompting them to make roster changes. The additions of Yudan and Hiroron bring some new faces to the team. Yudan might be relatively unknown to most fans, and despite thorough research, the information about him remains scarce. On the other hand, Hiroron comes from the former Fnatic team. While these signings might not seem groundbreaking, the significant aspect is that the organization is showing a willingness to move on from the initial roster that brought them fame. Laz remains at the helm as the captain, and the face most associated with the iconic run. Sugar Zero continues to be a solid player with explosive potential, and based on last season's performance, depth appears to progressively improve every time. Zeta Division is an ideal choice for fans who love Japan and have a soft spot for underdog teams. Despite struggles in the international stage, Zeta Division's underdog status adds to their appeal, making them the perfect team for supporters who appreciate resilience and a journey of a team seeking redemption. Bleed, an organization hailing from Singapore, whose team is consisting of Crazy Guy, Daryon, and S. Scary, secured the Pacific Ascension spot for the organization. While they couldn't retain all original members due to military service obligation, notable additions have been made. Egoist, formerly part of Boom Esports, joined the ranks, and the final addition is none other than the renowned El Diablo himself, Ye. Bleed is anticipated to be a major topic of conversation in the Pacific region and internationally. Even if their performances may not necessarily be stellar, Ye is recognized as the best player of 2022, and has faced challenges in 2023 with Cloud9 and DSG. All eyes are on Bleed to see if Ye can rebound from the setbacks of previous year. Choosing to be a fan of Bleed is an interesting and somewhat unpredictable choice. It means associating yourself with the discussion and debates about Ye's impact on the team's success or failure. Proceeding with caution is advised, but if the team proves to be really good, the payoff for being an early fan could be quite rewarding. Riot Games Arena in Berlin is the location for VCT EMEA, which will welcome teams from all over Europe and the Middle East. Unfortunately, as of 2024, there are no African teams participating in VCT. BBL Esports is a Turkish organization that has faced challenges in building a strong Valorant team over the years. Despite not making any international events in the open circuit and falling short in partnership in 2023, BBL Esports has maintained a commendable commitment to the Turkish team identity. Every player is from Turkey, and even the coaching staff is Turkish, an uncommon and notable feature in the esports scene. While BBL Esports may not be contenders in the upcoming season, the team carries a strong sense of national pride, openly embracing their Turkish identity. This makes BBL a recommended organization for Turkish fans who appreciate the team representing their nation. However, for those outside of the Turkish community, there may be other teams that warrant more attention based on performance and achievements. Ultimately, BBL Esports is a choice to consider for Turkish supporters looking to rally behind a team that proudly carries the flag of their nation in the competitive Valorant scene. Fnatic stand as the reigning dynasty in Valorant, having dominated the competitive scene in 2023. Their impressive achievements include securing first place at Lock-In, winning Masters Tokyo, and finishing third at Champions. This roster is a powerhouse, boasting the best talent in EMEA. During the regular season, they exhibited their dominance by bullying other teams, suffering only one fluke loss to Team Liquid in the grand finals of EMEA. Boaster, Fnatic's IGL, is widely regarded as the best in the game at the moment. Leo, Durka, Alfajir are all contenders for the title of best player in the world, while Chronicle holds the record for the player with the most trophies in VCT history, boasting 3 championships. The roster is undeniably elite, and the prospect of them slowing down in the upcoming year seems unlikely. If you prefer a team that consistently secures victories and the dislike to struggle of losing, Fnatic is the ideal choice for you. Barring any unforeseen chemistry collapse, it's difficult to imagine the team missing any international events or facing elimination in any group stage. Fnatic stands as the pinnacle of excellence in the EMEA region, making them the top pick for fans who relish watching a team that consistently outshines its competition. FUT Esports, a Turkish organization, is gearing up to establish itself as a contender in the highly competitive EMEA region. Making a strategic move to strengthen their roster, they signed CNED from NAVI. Despite qualifying for both Masters Tokyo and Champions last year, the team faced challenges and couldn't progress beyond the group stage. With the addition of CNED, FUT Esports aims to change that narrative and elevate their performance. CNED brings valuable experience and a skill to the roster. If the rest of the team can maintain a consistently high level of play, FUT Esports may be well on its path to success. Despite the strong national identity of BBL, Turkish Valorant fans may find themselves drawn to FUT Esports, especially considering CNED is on board. The potential of CNED getting a second title and the team's commitment to improve make FUT Esports a recommended choice for fans looking to support a Turkish team with aspirations for greatness in the EMEA Valorant scene. GiantX, seemingly a new organization, is in fact the rebranded Giants team. Recent developments include a merger with XL Esports, transforming it into a Spanish and English organization. The returning roster from last year consisted of Futinho, Niyuki, Hoodie, and Cloud faced disappointment at Champions, particularly when the Chinese team EDG criticized and dominated them. Ryan, perhaps influenced by this, chose to retire. In his place, Redguard, the former IGL and winner of VCT 2023 EMEA's trophy, has stepped in. While the change in IGL appears promising, considering that Team's Liquid struggles last year were attributed to leadership rather than talent, there's uncertainty about whether this is the right move for GiantX. The team, which has been middle of the pack last year, might continue their lackluster performance unless several players elevate their game. GiantX is recommended primarily for fans who are both half Spanish and half English, given the organization's dual identity. However, even in this case, it's worth noting that the only Spanish player on this team is Futinho. Unless significant improvements are made, the team may face challenges in making a notable impact in the upcoming season. Heretics, a Spanish organization, faced a tumultuous 2023, ending the season with a dismal record of 2-7. Their struggles continued in the EMEA circuit, culminating in an early exit from the last chance qualifier. The only returning players this season are Boo and technically Gen.G Fishy. While Gen.G Fishy didn't stand out much during the last chance qualifier, it's worth noting that the team's overall performance wasn't solely his responsibility. The team's new addition include Boo's younger brother, hilariously named Mini Boo, alongside Woot and Riens, who joined from free agency. With an unproven talent on this roster, it's challenging to confidently recommend them as a top pick. However, if you're intrigued by the prospect of watching a group of relatively unknown players, Heretics is an interesting team. Parles-tu français? No? Still not a problem. Karmine Corp is the most popular French esports organization globally, currently in the process of building an esports stadium in France for hosting major esports event. However, the team's on-server performance has not met the standards expected by their fans and the organization. In the previous years, they became the subject of jokes within the VCT due to their glaring fundamental play mistakes, often highlighted by the commentator and analyst's sideshow. In response to these challenges, the team underwent a comprehensive rebuild, bringing in mostly free agents from Tier 2 scene. Notable additions include Magnum, the IGL for the second place Tier 2 team Apex, Tomazi from SAW, Martin from GMT Esports, and the retention of Shin from the previous year. Additionally, in an unexpected move, they acquired Narrate, the duelist for Mad Lions in Tier 2 for North America. This rebuilding effort appears to be a significant improvement over the previous year's situation. I recommend this team if you're French and seeking a community of passionate fans deeply dedicated to their team across various esports. However, it's advisable to not set overly high expectations as the team continues their rebuild. The discussion and buzz surrounding Karmine Corp are likely to persist within the passionate French esports community.
Time! The shot, but I was getting dangerously close to running out of time.
Time! What? There's no time on the defuse, Lauren. You fucking melons! My eyes! My eyes! Rip them out! May an eagle pluck my eyes out!
KOI, a Spanish organization, faced a disappointing season last year, despite seemingly having a really strong roster. The lineup consisting of Trex, Starkzo, Coldamenta, Wolfen, and Shados fell short, failing to qualify for playoffs with a 2-7 record. Their last chance qualifier journey nearly ended in a Cinderella run, but ultimately they couldn't overcome NAVI to secure a spot in Champions. The concerning aspect is that the team is losing Trex, and there's seemingly very little moves in free agency being done. A team that appears to make little effort to improve raises doubts, making it a challenging recommendation to pick KOI. NAVI, originating from the Ukraine, held a fearsome reputation in the EMEA league last year, but gradually transitioned into somewhat of a meme as the season progressed. While the team didn't perform poorly, they garnered attention from experimenting with unconventional compositions. When it came time for a roster change, they made a surprising move by parting ways with their star player CNED, and signing a player who had played mediocre throughout the year last year. The current roster consists of Angel, Xiao, Zipan, Sugetsu, and the addition of artists. The decision to reform the entire team from the old EMEA FunPlus Phoenix team, which won Masters Copenhagen, seems to be rooted in the desire to recreate the past success. However, the meta has evolved, and questions arise about the team's ability and potential to do it again. It's worth noting that Angel, who was the previous in-game leader for this team, continues to play a crucial role in the team's dynamic and compositions. NAVI is a solid pick if you want to join the crowd that loved EMEA FPX or enjoy out-of-game comedic moments, as artists and Angel often provide really entertaining interviews. Despite reservations, the team is likely to contend for playoffs, making it a recommended choice. Team Liquid, a long-standing esports organization, had a mixed performance last year. While winning EMEA playoffs was considered to be a success by many, their international showing left much to be desired. Despite having a roster comprised of Safe, Soulcast, Nats, Redgar, and Yampi, the team faced unexpected challenges and underperformed at major LAN events like Masters and Champions. For the upcoming season, Team Liquid has retained Nats and Yampi while bringing in the core of the Tier 2 team Apex, Enzo, Keiko, and Mystic. With high expectations from the organization for a triumphant return to EMEA and improved international performances, this team is on a mission to elevate their status from a good team to an elite one. If you're keen on following a team that is determined to rise from its previous performance and aims for excellence, Team Liquid is a recommended choice. Vitality, a prominent French organization, recently celebrated their triumph in the last CSGO major. The same couldn't be said about their Valorant team. During the regular season, they ended with a record of 4-5, and while they qualified for playoffs, ultimately they fell short from qualifying for an international event, being eliminated by Foot in the lower bracket. The team faced an unforeseen tragedy leading to their absence in last chance qualifier that will not be discussed in this video. With C. Ender being the only returning member from the previous roster, Vitality has made some key moves in free agency. They welcomed Kicks from Letarius, Runner from Diamant Esports, Trex from Koi, and secured one of the standout players in EMEA, Safe, who played a crucial role in Team Liquid's success. While it's still early to predict their success, Vitality is making key moves in order to improve their roster in 2024. Gentlemates, the final French organization to secure a spot in EMEA franchising, by winning the Tier 2 Ascensions tournament. Their journey is nothing short of remarkable, starting off with a 13-5 record in the Challengers League French Revolution split. Despite predictions by many people favoring Apex, Gentlemates overcame all the teams in their group stage except Apex. After losing to Ascend Club in the upper bracket, they made an impressive run in the lower, ultimately securing their revenge against Apex in the grand finals. The roster will remain the same for the upcoming season. Notably, they are the sole Ascension team retaining all 5 of their original players. Like most Ascension teams, they are a recommended pick due to their victory in a year-long circuit with a tournament featuring the best teams from each region's sub-regions. With established chemistry, teamwork, and potential for the future, Gentlemates is an easy pick. Plus, they have one of the most aesthetically pleasing jerseys I've seen in VCT. VCT China is the newest addition to the Valorant Champions Tour, bringing forth a promising competitive landscape with its 10 franchise teams competing at the Shanghai Riot Games Arena. While some teams like All Gamers, JD Gaming, Nova Esports, and Wolves are yet to unveil their 2024 rosters, the region boasts experienced contenders such as Edward Gaming, Bili Gaming, FunPlus Phoenix, all which have international experience. These 3 teams with proven track records are anticipated to elevate the competition in VCT China, providing fans with thrilling matches and establishing themselves as formidable contenders in the emerging VCT scene. FunPlus Phoenix, otherwise known as FPX, has been grappling with identity issues since relocating from EMEA. Their struggles were evident at Champions, where they faced challenges in the group stage against Evil Geniuses and T1. Despite a closely contested match with Bili Gaming, they failed to secure a single victory in the international stage. The core of the roster remains, with additions of Australian player Autumn. This team presents a challenging recommendation, with only one relatively unknown Tier 2 duelist added and the same core returning. It's uncertain how far this roster will progress, especially with the introduction of new teams in the Chinese region, and the transition to a closed circuit. While the experienced core has qualified for significant tournaments, they have fallen short in those competitions. Whether or not this team is worth your support depends on your assessment of their potential. Bili Gaming, a prominent presence in the VCT China scene, has left an enduring impression in last year's champions, both earning admiration and some trolling from their American counterparts. Despite the good nature ribbing from Americas, Bili Gaming showcased their prowess by defeating NRG, contributing to their downfall. Their strategic use of the Judge, a very irritating gun to play against, played a pivotal role in their success, although their journey was eventually halted by their Chinese counterpart, EDG. Bili Gaming is once again led by the trio of Wise, Yosemite, and Bianc. While replicating their success of their unconventional shotgun strategies may pose a challenge this year, the team's overall prowess and entertaining playstyle make them an interesting choice to follow this season. For fans seeking an alternative to the top team in the Chinese region while still supporting one of their squads, Bili Gaming might be the choice for you. Edward Gaming has firmly established itself as a team to watch in the Chinese Valorant scene. Their impressive entry into the international stage occurred during Masters Tokyo, where they showcased their talent by eliminating opponents such as NAVI, T1, and Loud. The core roster, consisting of Haodong, Nobody, Chichu, and Smaji, boasts significant skills, but it's Kang, or as his abbreviation goes, ZMJJKK, who has earned the reputation as one of the best players in the Chinese scene. Renowned for his aggressive and standout opping, his interviews have also made him one of the more amicable figures in the VCT scene. Their Champions one was very impressive by placing 5th, tied with DRX. EDG's charisma, skill, and positive community presence have garnered a considerable fan base both within and outside of China. With the upcoming Masters event set to take place in Shanghai, the team is poised to receive tremendous support from passionate fans, as they vie for the first VCT China trophy and potentially their first international trophy. EDG stands out as one of the top recommendations in the Valorant scene. Dragon Ranger Gaming emerged victorious in the China's Ascensions tournament. Throughout the event, they demonstrated resilience and determination. The journey began with beating 17 Gaming in the upper bracket. In the group stage, they ended up losing to Attacking Soul Esports that led to a lower bracket run in group stage, and ultimately overcame 4 Angry Men to secure a spot in playoffs. Although they faced defeat against tournament favorites Rare Atom, Dragon Ranger Gaming orchestrated an impressive lower bracket run by getting revenge on Attacking Soul Esports and Rare Atom. Their path to victory mirrored that of their European counterparts, Gentlemates, as both teams defied the odds to win the championship. Neither were initially favored, both navigated through the lower bracket run, and each triumphed against their favorites in the finals. If you're looking for a team that is scrappy and has the ability to seize momentum, then Dragon Ranger Gaming is the choice for you. Here's the schedule for the upcoming events in 2024. February 16th, kickoff for VCT Americas and VCT Pacific. February 20, the start of EMEA's kickoff event. February 21st, the kickoff event for VCT China. March 14th, the start of the first international event of the year, Masters Madrid. Other important tournaments have been announced without specific dates, including Masters Shanghai and Champions 2024. Champions does not have a location yet. Tier 2, also known as Challengers, spans the entire year but can be covered in a separate video. This should cover all the relevant events for the Tier 1 2024 scene. I hope this guide has helped you choose the team or teams that you will be rooting for this season. If you would like to hear a more opinionated approach, hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell, as I will be releasing the Hater's Guide to VCT Americas, Pacific, and EMEA. Thank you to Busty Val for helping me write some segments in this video. Make sure to check out his channel. If you're interested in watching me play some Valorant, check out the link in the description below, as me and my friend Alfredo play on Twitch almost every day around 8 PM Pacific Standard Time. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.